All right, guys. Good morning. It is Black Spring with Autumn on your Sunday, the sun in your day. Like I said, it's been a lifetime. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are around, I am actually speaking to you, coming to you from the studio, the studio in its formative stage, formative place. And I'm going to call this sunrise. We have a sunrise surprise, but this is more like the sunrise after the sun has risen, but the surprise is maybe it's not a surprise for you at all. But hang on just 1 second. All right. So good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So, I mean, honestly, I'm going to tell you, we don't have a scripted agenda to speak of per se. This is, as you can see, it's a Sunday test. So, good morning to everyone. Good morning to Marcy T and John Roberts. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well out there. So, I am coming to you from, I guess it's not it's not a Black Spring mobile. I know we've been fond of those, but trying to warm it up a little bit. It's this place is kind of like revisiting. It's not like a cabin in the woods, but it's some of the elements are favorable, and sometimes the elements are they change. They change with time, seasons, right? Seasons. So we are in the seasons have changed, but some of the things, as the seasons change, there's so many things that remain the same. So thank you guys so much. Oh, thank you so much, Marcy T. Thank you so much. You say I sound excellent. Okay, I appreciate it. This is still the same, most of the same. I'm still working on some things here, but the most part, let me just bring myself here. Let's see. There are a couple of things that are going on out there. We've got we've got our typical political rhetoric. What is it? We've got a big beautiful bill. Of course, that's your alliteration. What is it? What is it with the three B's? We got the big beautiful bill, and prior to that, we had the Build Back Better, and I'm just saying, whoo, alliteration city, right? But I think many of the, dare I say, the people of the politicians, they all are schooled in some level of rhetoric. I don't know if they've read the classics. I don't know, but they understand. What they understand where the hook is, where they can land a hook, and they understand how to make it. They know how to hang on. And it's not just the hook, but the buy-in. Somebody's always trying to get you to buy into something. So I'm interested in looking at this. I'm interested in looking at the BBBB, the BBB, the triple B. Marcy said the 222. Thank you, Marcy. And for some of other people on the other side, they might even see that BBB as a 666. But see, that's the thing. There is a duality. I'm finding that there's dualities everywhere. Okay, there's emotional dualities. There's spiritual dualities. There are social dualities. They're everywhere, and that is a part of the hook. So they understand the rhetoric from the left paradigm, the right paradigm. They understand that, and some people they love it. They love it. They love it. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. So yeah, so I'm just just kind of it takes a little bit of it takes energy to come back here, because things have changed. Okay. The landscape, of course, the social, the emotional, the promotional, the engagement of social media is evolving all of the time. So, it's almost like you got to just jump in. Whenever you're in, you got to find your place to jump in. But it's not always, you might not always get a big splash. you may not even get a ripple. But like I said, I'm just, I'm glad to see that you guys are hanging around, and I appreciate you. So let's see, who else do we have here? Let's see, we have John Roberts, Marcy T. I just wanted to, kind of reach out because there's some things that I've stumbled onto, and I feel, and I think to a great extent that I've noticed these things for a while. And I've said this to a few people, not necessarily, I'm not even setting up a correlation, causation, or vice versa. But I've talked about the levels of, I guess I need to come up with a code word. Here I am self-censoring after being, away or silent for some time. The CANCER, I've thought that that has been on a rise for a long time. And it just seems to me that I want you to look at an actual liner with me really quickly. I think this has been on a global spectrum. I don't know whether Americans are aware of this, or it just seems like we've kind of resolved our way to our way of life, whether we call it retirement. I just think that before retirement, it's almost like we retire into the CANCER. But Americans seem to be, we don't really question, for the most part. We don't question our systems. We don't question our governments. We don't redress our government. We don't. I think some people love their politics more than they do, than they love freedoms. Because I'm going to tell you, if you're really all about liberty is not living with afflictions, or it's not. It's like most people, they can't enjoy even a retirement because they've already been riddled with you can, sir. Thank you, Marcy. Very shrewd, very savvy. Thank you. You can, sir. You can, sir. Believe you can, sir. Yes. Believe you can, sir. Yes. And I want to share a liner with you. And I've thought about this for many years, and not just many years, but I've thought about just the overall health of, the health landscape of, the US versus, of course, other nations. And I find that, we have the most dental offices. We have actual centers and blocks dedicated to cancer. We have that more than any place that I've been to. Now, this other place, we've got some comparatives here. So at the time, by the end of this stream, you can synthesize and do whatever you want, whatever line of questioning that you think will bring you to to narrowing this down. Go for it. I always encourage, research is awesome. Line of inquiry is important. Okay. But that's on you to do. The way you do that, let's leave that up to you. But we always start with what we know. What do we want to know? What have we learned? And then we end up making inferences about that. Okay. So let's go into that article just for a second. I just want to look at this. Thank you so much, Marcy T. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I didn't even, these codes. I mean, I guess, should we release a code one day? Are they going to put it in a time capsule? At the boom of social media, where are the codes? Are we going to put those codes in a time capsule? It says this, this code meant this when you're listening to YouTube or when you're listening to things that are, I call it, I might even say, most of us have been reduced to, for the lack of a better phrase or a lack of a better word, maybe we are, not religious, heretics. Maybe they think we're social misfits, or we're social, heretics. I don't know, however you want to spin it, because it's about dissidence is what it's about. It's not limited. Language matters. I just wish that language matters. If you're a non-believer, you're a free thinker, you are, they accuse you of, what is it? You're guilty of, you're a heretic until proven, you're not a heretic until you're proven guilty, but it's actually more like the opposite is the way that you're treated. So let's look at something here just really quickly. Once again, I hope you guys are doing really well out there. So I just want to show you John Roberts. Let's have a little bit. Let's see. Let's go in a little bit of order here. Let's see. Marcy T says, what happened to a strong moon system? And then nobody questions this. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, wow. Okay. So we've got some, it's nice that this community has maintained its level of its diversity of professionals. And, we're all trained under the same system. If you know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So we have John Roberts. He's an RN oncology nurse specialist, nearly a CA. Wow, John Roberts. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And Marcy T as well. Thank you guys for your insight. Marcy says she was a surgical RN for 25 years. Wow. So we've got some experience in here. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate you guys for bringing those perspectives and bringing that experience and wisdom to bringing it back here after all this time. So let's go with it here, guys. Once again, I appreciate everyone. Just had some thoughts, and I might flash myself in here for a second so you can see that this is Black Spring speaking to you. It is not AI. It is not AI. So let's bring in this article, and then I'll bring myself to the stage. So I'm going to share this article with you. And let me see here. We had this, it came to me. I wasn't really looking for it, but it's probably going to be, it's probably, I don't know if you'll look at this and okay, you can dissect it or whatnot, but definitely, like I said, I've always encouraged you guys to do your own research because research matters and language matters, and all of it matters at the end of the day. And I think we should be accountable for what we contribute. I really do. And some of us, we do the heavy lifting, and I think that's what YouTube is. It's, there's somebody has to do it, right? Somebody has to do it. So hang on one more second. I apologize. We had this here, but I think I got a little bit squirrely and moved something around. So it's actually going to give America's ranking amongst, I guess, a kind of a global perspective. But then here again, I think we as Americans kind of turn a blind eye to perspective. So let's go ahead and share this one with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, this is fair use. And this allows a limited use of copyrighted material without requiring permission from the rights holders. And this is for commentary, of course, news reporting. I don't know if you want to call it teaching or scholarship. Everyone's a scholar. Everyone's a scholar. Okay, so we're going to have a look at this really quickly. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. Let's see here. Let me shrink this down here. All right, so this is coming from the Daily Mail. I'm going to bring this into full scale for you guys. Thank you, God. Thank you so much, John Roberts. Thank you for taking time out of your day, as well as Marcy T. I'm going to bring this into full scale for you guys so that you can see this from wherever you are. Let's see. Come on, dinosaur. You're being a dinosaur. Okay, so here we are. All right. So with that said, let's have a look. A looky. Okay, so this is coming from the dailymail.co.uk, and this is a health article. So it's entitled America becomes the cancer capital of the world, with more CACES than all but one country, un pays. Okay, all right. So and I some people that may not. So I think we are so desensitized in these subjects that I apologize for all the fashion stuff here. I may be able to scoot past it, but let's just have a look. Okay, so according to this, America has surpassed all but one country in the new cancer diagnosis, making it a cancer capital of the world. Notice it says cancer capital of the world. The U.S. saw 2.4 million new cases of the in 2022, surpassing all but China, which saw nearly 4.8 million. However, the U.S. saw a higher rate than the Asian country, 1,307 cases per 100,000 people, compared to the Chinois' 490 per 100,000. Overall, the U.S. has the fifth highest, rate in the world, and the cases are climbing. You notice I said the cases. That's not written there. The cases. America made up about 13% of the 19 million cases recorded worldwide in 2022, more than the combined share from all of Africa, 6%, Latin America and the Caribbean, 7%, and Oceania, less than 2%. And global diagnoses are only expected to increase, reaching 35 million a year by 2050. Oof. Lung, was the most commonly diagnosed among both men and women, responsible for almost 2.5 million new cases, or 1 in 8 cancers worldwide. In the U.S., an estimated 236,740 new cases of lung were diagnosed, and 130,000 people died. Okay, of course, this is a big one here. The breast, in women made up 12% of cases worldwide. Colorectal accounted for 10%, prostate at 7%, and stomach at 5%. The cancer is now the leading cause of death in Americans under 85, according to the American Cancer Society's 2024 report. Okay, so they're giving you a little bit of a feature here where they show the illumination here, showing, of course, you see the shades and the lighter shades, and then the intensity, the shades get a little bit more intense, and then it reaches, it's higher, its highest intensity, its higher scale. Okay, so it says, while it remains the second leading cause of death overall in the U.S., it has surpassed heart disease as the top killer in younger age groups. The anticipated spike in the new diagnosis is mainly due to population growth and aging. But experts are increasingly blaming environmental toxins and ultra-processed foods. And though the rates among people under 50 are on the rise, particularly colorectal cancer, the disease still primarily affects seniors. The rise in projected cases by 2050 is solely due to the aging and growth of the population, assuming current incidence rates remain unchanged. Dr. I'm going to say Younga Song, senior principal scientist at the American Society, said, notably, the prevalence of major risk factors such as consumption of unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, heavy alcohol consumption, and cigarette smoking are increasing in many parts of the world and will likely exacerbate the future burden of, barring any large-scale interventions. Experts warn that the projected rise in cases by 2050 stems from more than just aging populations. Population growth explains part of the increase, but preventable risk factors, poor diet, lack of access to screenings, chemical exposures are also driving the disproportionate spikes. While the US diagnoses about 1 in 6 global cases, it accounts for just 7% of the deaths worldwide, thanks to the advancement, treatments, and fast drug approvals. You see, I mean, guys, we're getting we're getting some language here. Some language here. That's my favorite thing. Okay, I'll keep going here. My language here, not conditions and this. Okay, so let's keep going. The American Society reported that almost half of all these cases and about 56% of the deaths in 2022 occurred in Asia, where over 59% of the world's population lives. Cancer death rates in Africa and Asia are much higher than cases, partly because cancers there are often found late and are harder to treat. So here we go again. We got some disparities being highlighted here. Okay, I'm going over this with you guys for the first time because I anticipated we'd run into something, but we've got the specifics. So here we go. Europe has more cancer cases and deaths than expected for its population, making up about 20% of global cases and deaths, though it has less than 10% of the world's people. Okay, so you have a little bit of a graphic here. This is a bit of a bar graph we have. So they're showing you that the cases to spike, look at that, from 2022 to 2050. So what we're talking about, that's kind of we'll play around with it in just a second. So that's kind of the rate here that they, according to this is about 20 million cases of were diagnosed in 2022, but that number is projected to balloon to more than 35 million cases by 2050. So okay, so we're going to keep going here. All right. So I'm going to keep going here. So I'm narrowing it down a little bit. So yeah, prostate cancer in men is the most frequently diagnosed cases in 118 countries, followed by lung cancer among both sexes in 33 countries, and liver, colorectal, and stomach cancer ranking in first place in 11, 9, and 8 countries, respectively. By 2050, lung cancer cases will climb from about 2.5 million in 2022 to roughly 4 million. Deaths will also climb from approximately 1.8 million to about 3 million. Global breast cancer cases are projected to surge from 2.3 million to 3.5 million by 2050, with deaths rising from 666,000 to 1 million. Breast cancer is the most common cancer in women, excluding skin cancer, diagnosed in 157 countries, while cervical cancer leads in 25 others. The U.S. saw 288,000 new cases in 2022, with over 319,000 projected for 2025. Just 10 cancer types cause over 60% of all cases and deaths globally. Leading the pack is lung cancer, 12.4% of cases, followed by 11.6%, colorectal 9.6%, prostate 7.3%, and stomach cancers 4.9%. Colorectal cancers cases, will skyrocket from 1.9 million to 3 million globally by 2050, fueled by processed diets and rising early onset cases. In 2023, 19,550 Americans under 50 were diagnosed with CRC. Deaths will climb from 904,000 to 1.4 million, especially in regions with poor screening. Okay, so this thing is heavy, and we're almost to the end of it here. Okay, so in North America, pancreatic cancer cases and deaths will both increase sharply, with minimal survival improvements expected. Obesity and diabetes are key drivers. Prostate cancer is set to explode from 1.5 million cases today to a staggering 2.5 million by 2050 as the world's population ages. Deaths will leap from 397,000 to 600,000, hitting sub-Saharan Africa hardest, where life-saving treatments remain out of reach. Let's see. Hang on just a second, guys. Okay, so we have, so we're kind of getting into, hang on, just let me just check in with you guys for a second. So we kind of get into a pattern here. This is all doom and gloom. It's pretty doom. I mean, they're projecting. How are you forecasting so much death? How are you speaking so much death? And that's exactly what this is. How do you forecast deaths? I see, to me, that's another thing that it seems like we've been completely desensitized. You're literally forecasting death. You can't quite get the rain forecast correct, but you've got it down for you've got it down. But you're speaking, but we'll keep going here. We'll go ahead and finish this one up, okay? Because this one's heavy enough. I don't want to get too heavy. I don't want to go too long because this is pretty morbid. But then I want to check these sources. I mean, I think we've all kind of, the trust and a lot of things have been violated in so many ways over the last few years. I mean, who can trust the statistics, much less, let's just keep going here. We'll figure it out here. All right. So let's finish this one up. So, okay. We left off on the sub-Saharan where the life-saving treatments remain out of reach for millions. It talks about liver cancer cases will rise. 865,000 to 1.2 million. Deaths will remain high, nearing 1 million. Due to late detection in poor parts of the world. It's on track to become more common, fueled by America's growing struggles with obesity, diabetes, and heavy drinking. Even as hepatitis-linked cases fade, deaths will climb in lockstep as more patients are diagnosed too late for effective treatment. Cervical cancer cases can plummet from 660,000 to 500,000 with wider, here we go, and I knew it was coming, mocktails, right? With wider HPV mocktails. Yet deaths may persist in Africa without better screening. Meanwhile, North America could nearly eliminate it thanks to mocktails and early detection. You see, you got that? That's the solution, right? I'll keep going. Stomach cancer cases will decline slightly due to H. pylori control, but deaths will persist in regions with limited health care. Pancreatic cancer cases will spike from 511,000 to 800,000, with deaths mirroring this rise due to poor survival rates. Last one, I think. Esophageal cancer cases will grow from 511,000 to 700,000, driven by obesity-related adenocarcinoma in wealthy nations. While cases in the U.S. are rising, deaths due to cancer are on the decline thanks to advances in treatments. Scientists can now engineer, here we go, immune cells in the lab that target and kill what cells, while the CRISPR-based, here we go, gene therapies have progressed from the lab to clinical trials for people with, Dr. Karen Knudsen, CEO of the American Cancer Society, says understanding the global cancer burden is critical to ensuring everyone has an opportunity to prevent, detect, treat, and survive. So, okay. You know what? This data provides insight into trends and potential areas for intervention and can help prioritize discovery efforts worldwide. So these sources where the data, this is not my domain. Okay. So you health professionals out there, like I said, hats off to you. You guys have seen the insides. You've seen the bare bones. You see more bare bones and what actually goes on behind the scenes. So I'm not sure, they're not exactly quoting the sources in which these statistics were obtained. I don't know where the sources are. So here it is. Let me walk that back. They said this comes from the World Cancer Research Fund. I assume that's one of their sources, but to me, I'm not convinced that that's where all of this comes from. But just look at this, this is a complete death a death forecast. And the solution, it goes back to mocktails. If I'm not mistaken, I'm just saying, it's also being blamed on, the causes here. They're going from diet, lack of exercise. But yeah, it's funny that this is all being cited, that they're citing these as causes. But in the last few years, go back to 2020, who in the world promoted exercise during a time of crises? Who did it worldwide? Was there a campaign for that? Was there a campaign for that? You see that they keep I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Was that the CRISPR? Is that the C? I've heard of that before, but that's another solution, right? Okay, let's go into some comments here. Thank you so much, Marcy T. And with all that said, Miss Marcy says, get that vitamin C, right? Go out. But what were they? They were doing the absolute opposite of that. Back during the DMIC, you were getting free offers on donuts, snacks, the greasy spoons, you were Shake Shack burger deals from Mayor whatever up in New York. You were getting everything. You heard everything except for a gym membership offer, right? Do you guys remember any gym memberships being offered? They told everyone, just have a burger, have a fry, come on. We'll give you free ice cream. We'll give you a free vehicle to ride around and stuff your face with Shake Shack fries. You remember, no one promoted. I remember people coming to this channel. Shout out to Derek C. Williams, if he's within the sound of my voice. He said Derek would come on and Derek would say, hey, I'm outside. This is where I am. I'm outside. We're outside. Come on out. Come on. Here's a dare for you. Come on outside. And hey, he was getting fresh air and exercise. And I remember that. So shout out to Derek C. Williams. Derek C. Williams, you are absolutely missed around here. But they were promoting everything under the sun. But let's just really quickly. So your source there, I'm going to drop this in the chat. So you have American Cancer Society being cited here, as well as the World Cancer Research Fund. Okay. This is, so you had the American Cancer Society and you have the World Link. Okay. So, we won't talk about that other organization. We want the WHO. We won't talk about them because where are they? Because that would kind of contradict what they were promoting, what they were not promoting not too long ago. But the fact that they've got these forecasts on these various types of cancers, how in the world does anybody know that? Unless they've got some type of, how do you know that? How can you forecast? And then the disparities, the causes, they're linking it to diet, obesity, population issues, disparities. They're talking about sub-Saharan countries. They're citing, and then equity. They want to give you that equity. So I'm just thinking, does that mean is it fair to say that we can look to see more promotion of mocktails in the future? Is that going to be there? Is that going to be the solution? They're going to be, because that's what it sounds like to me. Is if we go back to this particular article really quickly, you've got this, whoever this Dr. Knudsen is. You've got your Dr. Knudsen saying that, we want to make sure that everyone, that was the same rhetoric that was used back in 2020, I believe is going to be used to move this thing forward. And this is Karen Knudsen. She's CEO of the ACS. So they want to bring in equity and inclusion. And what are they going to do? But how are they going to do that? Are they going to do it by coercion? What? How are they going to do it? I'm going to leave it up to you guys. You decide. How are they going to do it? Is it going to be predictable, or is it going to follow a pattern, or is it going to be some other crafty way? Okay. So here it is. Let me read this statement here. This is Dr. Karen E. Knudsen, the CEO of the ACS, said, understanding the global, you know what, burden is critical to ensuring everyone has an opportunity to prevent, detect, treat, and survive. So does that mean we're going to go back to tracking, tracing, coercion? Is that, I'm just saying, you decide, ladies and gentlemen, but just know. So my thing is, it's interesting that we're acknowledging that there's a rise. Why now? Why now? That's another, you decide. Why now? You decide how and by what means. By what means. Mars and mocktails. I think we got a pattern here. I do. I really do. But there again, I don't think here again. I think, and I kind of opened up with this, and I want to close this out. Thank you guys for spending a whopping 38 minutes and 20 seconds between this article and my own commentary. Okay, so I'm just thinking the average American does not. The average American plans for retirement, but do they plan for the UCAN to be a part of that retirement? No, I think they subconsciously they don't. But I think that it's been so they're desensitized to it. So they've accepted it. They've accepted that they're going to. I think what are the stats on most Americans retiring ish? What is it? What are the chances that people are going to retire with said affliction? What are the chances? You decide. What do you decide? How are they going to move forward? Is this about moving more mocktails? Are you going to see that? Because she says right here that everyone, are they going to start running campaigns? Saying, oh, they're going to throw black people in there. Say, hey, you black folks, you got to we've got to make sure you have the opportunity to prevent, detect, treat, and survive. And then what are they going to do? We had all kinds of campaigns the last time. But really, this particular affliction actually is kind of like a stranger. It kind of shows up. It's been lurking all along in the shadows of your life. But by the time you get to retirement age, oh yeah, it's already there. By the time you get to it, unless they're going to start tracking and tracing you and calling that prevention, which maybe that's what they're doing already. We already engage in preventative measures by going and getting these screenings all the time. So they're already tracking, okay, tracing, and it's inevitable to treat, right? So how many survivors will there be? I bet most of you, anybody who's in the sound of my voice, could probably think about how many people do you know that are already being taken down by this particular affliction. How many? How many people that you know that are newly diagnosed? How many people that you know that have dealt with multiple types? Let's see, Marcy T. Let's see. Thank you so much, Marcy T. I'm going to back this up a little bit. I appreciate you, Marcy T. I remembered your free Krispy Kreme donuts. No donuts for you. None for me. Okay. Marcy says, me and my son, Chris, we made a pact to go outside and walk 4 miles just so everyone could see us. Well, I got you. There you go. I like it. She says also, just like I got you. They're telling us all of this. Yeah, exactly. How do they know? How do you get they forecast demics? You've already got demics underlying, demics on top of demics, right? One demics running in alignment with another, running alongside a demic. We've already got that. We're always in a demic. We always have a crisis. Most of the time there's a crisis that is running, concurrent with another. It's got to be. But then it's just like when you're going to shelf one, you'll shelf this one for a little while, and then you'll bring the other one. It's like, well, what happened to that statistic? Oh, well, what happens when this causes the U cancer? What happened with that? No, it just kind of shelved it. It never went out of the cycle. It's just been kind of shelved right now. Okay, it never goes to waste. Okay, so let's go. Thank you so much, Marcy T. Marcy T. Dutton. Gotcha. She says, and nobody can correlate a smoking gun here with all the nonsense. You're right. Hey, don't be accused of social heresy. Social heresy. Can we make that up? Can we call it that? I don't know. I don't know. Just saying. Let's see. So Marcy, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. And I learned something new every day. John Roberts, Marcy T. I appreciate you guys so much. And like I said, we're probably going to stop here because I was like, this is kind of dark, right? The first time I'm back here after a while. And I just kind of wanted to stop, to drop in. And, what a way to drop in, huh? But if these things are out there, I wanted to get into some other lines, but probably not today. Probably not today. Holy mackerel. Okay. But yeah, so let me do this. As I said, I appreciate you guys so much for all that you do and all of your time. I thank you. So, yeah, I really appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen. And yeah, so this is, I'll probably be coming to you again, and I'll be coming to you from this particular location, and I appreciate it. So let's see. You guys have a great rest of your day. I just want to thank you guys so much for Marcy T for coming in. And let's see here. I just want to thank you guys so much for coming in. And I don't know, I'm not sure if I'll come back today, but so I'm working on this environment here. Love to you too, Marcy. And we'll see what happens. So yeah, let me know what you think. So the question, I think, like, how in the world are we going to, if with such a dark forecast, how are we going to make this a situation in which they are able to do more prevention, more, the prevention, the treatments, and all of this. So I've drawn it down to a tracking, tracing, and their solution. I have done that. So I appreciate you guys so much for all that you